If you clicked on this video, it means you have watched the previous one where I explained how to get the time and distance between two locations. Let me just recap quickly. So you need an API key that you will put in cell B2, and then you will go to get distance and time. At minimum, you will put the origin address and destination address, and then you have a bunch of optional parameters, such as the mode, whether you're driving, taking public transportation, departure time, if you're taking public transportation, which one. You can use the model best guess, which is the default, avoid tolls, highways, etc. You can get the unit in metric or empirical, and then define the region and language to get the result here. Now let's go to the code. And if you noticed, I have three buttons: get lat long, get time distance, and delete all. I'm gonna focus on the middle one. Delete all is something very simple, is to delete the data. And get lat long you might not even use. And if you understand the middle one, then you will be able to understand this one on your own. It is exactly the same concept. So if we focus the video on this one, it will be the best approach, I think. You can still ask me some questions. Now, let's go. You have developer and Visual Basic, and you will get here. Now, if you see, I have four modules. I have the JSON converter. Basically, what it will do is you will get a response from the API, and then it will extract the values from this response. This is something super standard. You will never change it. So I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to mention it. This is where you have the delete all button, super simple. And this is where you have the lat long macro. So I'm not going to go into this. I'm just going to go into distance and time. We double click on it, and there we go. Let me just move this to the left, and we start. We have all the variables here at the beginning, all those dim. So the variables are really self-explanatory. The names are chosen so you can understand them. Where we restart is here. First of all, I need to set my sheets. So I have two sheets I want to use: get distance and time, and then the API key. Those are the variables for those sheets, so I can use them. Then we have the API key. So this is a variable. I'm taking the variable from the sheet API key, cell B2. So if we just go here, this is cell B2. We have now the API key, perfect. Let's get back. I need to know how many rows of data I need to process, right? And the data can be in the origin address, or you might have the lat long. So what do? I'm gonna check the last row that we have with data in columns A and B. You can see this here, last row A and last row B. What we do is we just go to the row, we go down, we start at the bottom, and then we go up to get the row. So here I will get row 6 for last row A, and here I will get row 5. And then I take the maximum of both of them. So you have here 6 and 5, it will be row 6. Because sometimes you will have numbers here. So in this case, it will be 6 and 7, so we will take 7. Let me just delete this and show you just the end. You can see here, XL up means that I'm taking the last row of the sheet and going up to get row 6 and 5 in this case. Next, we have this variable GMT offset. So it's cell J2. What is this? So we go here. This is the GMT difference. It's the difference between my time and the GMT time. I am in Ecuador, so I am 5 hours behind. So we store this one. Then we get the user's time from his machine. This is a variable. The function is now. It will take the time that I have in my machine, and we're gonna add the GMT offset. So for example, let's say now it's 9 a.m. at my local time, and I'm 5 hours behind. So it will take 9 a.m. minus 5 will be plus 5. It will be 14 GMT time. And next, we're gonna convert this GMT time into something called Unix time. This is because the API takes this time, so we have to do it. Basically, we're taking the time minus 1 January 1970, and we multiply by this number. This is the number of seconds. I don't know why they do this, but this is how it works. So now we have the current time of my machine. We need to ask the user whether he wants to process or not, right? So the number of rows to process is the last row I found, which is in this case 6, minus 5. Why? Because we start at row 6. You can see 5 is the headers. So 6 minus 5 in this case will mean that I have one row to process. And then we're gonna ask the user. So this is a message box. It has at the end, if you see, VB yes or no. So the options are yes or no. If the user says no, then we just exit. If he says or she says yes, then we're gonna continue. Those are variables to store the issues that we might encounter. For example, the user has not filled something, etc. We continue with the loop. So we start at row 6 and we go until the last row. In my case, I only have one, so it will be row 6 to row 6. First of all, we're gonna clear the answer. So the answer is from rows Q to W. Let me just show you. This is row Q till W. We're gonna clear everything. Next, we start getting the data. So the origin address, all those are variables. We're gonna take it from row I, which is 6 at the beginning, column 1, which is A. Then you have the latitude origin will be the second column, column B, row 6, and so on. So we have the origin latitude, the origin longitude, destination address, which you have here, and lat long for those two. Next, we're gonna start checking, because sometimes the user will not fill those the right way and I don't want to process. So what do I check? First of all, I check whether the lat or long is blank, which means that this will not be useful for me. And if one of the two addresses in text is blank, then it means the data is missing. So I'm gonna count an error and then I'm gonna skip the row. Next row is something I wrote below. You're gonna see it, it's at the end of this macro. So it will tell the macro just to skip this row and go to the next one, which will be row 7 if you have data. We will do the same check, but instead of checking those lat longs, we're gonna check those two. So if one of those two is blank and one of the addresses in text is blank, it's the same problem. We continue. Here we get the travel mode. So the travel mode, which is this one, it is in column 9, which is I, and this is the row. Now, if the travel mode is blank, then we're gonna take driving as a default. You can change it if you want. You have the departure time. Let me show you. It is here. So this is column 10, row I, you know it. If the departure time is blank, or it's written now here, then we will take now, which means I want to go now. This is what we're gonna send to the API. However, if you have put something, then we're gonna try to convert this to a Unix time. Remember at the beginning, I showed you how we took the local time of the machine and converted it to Unix. This is the same, but with the departure time. So we convert the departure time that is here into a date. We add 5 hours, this is the GMT offset, and then we convert it by subtracting the 1st of Jan 1970. Now the API will not work if you put a time in the past. So I'm gonna compare the time Unix that you have put here versus the time in your machine converted to Unix. If the time you have put here is less, then you have a date in the past. I'm just gonna fill departure time is in the past, which will be here. I'm just gonna fill it from column Q to U, and I'm gonna count an error, skip the row. You can see here, again, we have go to next row. Now, if it's not, which is something good for me, I can run the code. So I'm gonna put the departure time as a string, so a text, and take the Unix time. Now we start constructing the URL we're gonna send to the API. So I'm gonna check that all my lat longs are not blanks. So you can see this different than blank. If it's the case, I'm gonna use the lat long approach. I told you that lat long has a priority over the addresses that are in text. So here I will have my URL with all the variables we got. For example, this is the API key, this is the destination lat, and so on. You can see this is the travel mode. Now, in case not, then I'm going to use the text that I have for my addresses. So it's going to be the same. The only difference is I'm going to send the text. We have our URL. We need to add additional things. So if the travel mode is transit, then I'm going to take the transit mode, which is, for example, subway, tram, etc., and put it. Now, if the transit mode is blank, I'm going to put subway by default. And I add it to my URL. This is how you add it. Next, you have the traffic model. Let me show you here. This is the traffic model. So I'm just going to put it in a variable. If the travel mode was driving and the traffic model was not blank, then I'm going to add this traffic model because this works whenever you have traffic. If you're going by metro, then you won't have any traffic, right? Next, we go here. This is the avoid. Again, we put it in a variable. If it's not blank, then we're going to add it to our URL. Same for the units. We take it, and then if it's not blank, we add it to the URL. We do the same for the region and the same for the language. Next, we create a request and we send it to the API. So this is my URL. I'm going to send it to the API and get the response. This is the response. Now this response, we are sending it to this JSON converter. It will be super standard and it is to extract the information. So this is where we send it. We have it here. I wrap this into error. So if there is an error, you won't get an error on the screen and it will just skip. Next, we check the status of this JSON. So this is the status. So if it's not okay, which means it's an error, I'm going to put not found in the answer cells. Let me just explain to you. For example, if I take this URL, Control C, and I go here, this is the JSON response. So you will see that the status here is okay. So this means that the code will continue executing and I can extract the data. We continue. Now we start extracting the data. We have distance text, duration text, and we are extracting them from distance and duration. If you saw here, you can see distance, duration, etc. Now there is a peculiarity for driving. If you are driving, there will be two durations. The first one will be called duration normally, and the second one will be called duration in traffic. And I want to take duration in traffic. So I am checking whether you have selected driving or nothing. Now, if you have, what I will do is try to get this duration in traffic. If there is something in it, then I'm just going to extract it and put it into duration in text and minutes. You can see here. There you go. You have it here. If it's blank, I don't find it, I want to protect myself, then the duration will be the normal one, as simple as this. You see here we are converting from seconds to minutes, etc. Super simple. Now, in case we are not driving or it's not blank, then just take the duration normally. You can see we take it from this JSON response. Next, we need just to write everything to the right cells. So here we took the distance, we write it, the duration in minutes, etc. Everything is there. We just put it normal. This is the next row I showed you before. So whenever there is a problem, I want to skip row, it will execute all this. It will go to the next row. This is the counter. And then it will just give me some error messages. So those are the variables. Those are the error messages that will come. And there you go. There is another one also that we have, JSON error. If there is an error in the JSON, it will just put JSON error in the answer and it will just continue. So this is how it works basically. And if you need to change the code in a few places, I don't think it's going to be that difficult because what we are doing is just sending something to the API, getting the answer, and then we are just taking the data from the answer.